Hi, this is Brooke with MeetRx, and today I'm speaking with April, who's going to share with us her carnivore journey. Hi, April. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good.
Nice to meet you, and I'm so glad you're here to share with us, and thank you for taking that time. So let's just get started. So how are things with you before and after the carnivore diet?
Well, before I discovered carnivore, I have to admit I was luckier than most people as a child, although I'm half German Irish, so you can't tell. I know. The other half is Filipino, okay? And organ meats were a staple when I was growing up. Liver, loved it. I'm half, German Irish, Western Pennsylvania, born and raised. Anyone out there who knows Western Pennsylvania? Hunters, okay? So my American uncles, dad would bring home venison. My mom would Filipino that up. We ate nose to tail from when I was little, okay? So I was eating venison testicles at 6, okay? How many kids can say that? I was eating balut, the duck with the feathers in it and the egg.
I know that dish. It freaked me out at first.
Yes, it's really good. Like I said, liver always on my plate, so I was lucky. But, I go to school, my mom made fish for me, and the kids are making fun of me, and then I go home and I don't want this, Mom. I want peanut butter and jelly on Wonder Bread with Twinkies. So just like a lot of children of immigrants, tossed that out and wanted to eat like everybody else. But I still kept that love of, organ meats with me. So later on, as, an adult, and I still kept it in, one of my favorite foods to eat, I know some of the carnivore keto people will be like, oh my goodness, right? That's what you ate? My favorite comfort food was rice with sardines on it and spinach and an egg on top. I don't eat it with the rice anymore. I don't. Every so often, I'll still keep my spinach in there, but no more rice. But sardines are still part of my everyday meal plan. What started to go wrong in my life was, I've always been active and fit, is I did a bikini competition, right?
Nice.
Yes. So I did a bikini competition, but there were some drawbacks and some consequences to that. Okay. So, what let me do bikini competition was I used to be in the military. So really active, fit, even though, still ate junk. I kept thin because of that. But then I entered a bikini competition and I was told to eat 6 meals a day, your lean proteins, your rice, oatmeal, low fat. And these were like bird-like meals. And did I get really lean and fit with extremely hard work and over exercise? Yes, I did. And then as soon as that competition was over, I had an eating disorder. I never had an eating disorder. And I was also depressed too. So I got depressed and I had this huge eating disorder. Now I couldn't stop eating, right? Because I was so used to eating low fat and 6 meals a day. I eventually stopped competing in bikini because that was not good for my mental status. At one low point, what happened is I was eating, I ate a whole sheet cake. And then I ran the next day for 10 miles to undo the damage. And then I was so hungry that I ate 5 tubs of frosting. And then I kept over exercising. People like, she's so dedicated. No, I was actually sick and I was addicted to carbs now.
Yeah, you're running away from the carbs.
Yes. And eventually it doesn't work anymore. Eventually I switched my sports. I couldn't compete in something that was so aesthetic focused. And I switched over to powerlifting and kettlebell sport because that's more about performance. Eventually I dropped powerlifting because I fell in love with Oli. So I did Oli lifting, kettlebell sport, but I sort of still didn't look like an athlete. I looked normal.
So you were working out really hard and doing all these low fat things that we used to do. And binging and whatever. And then when did it hit you that, this diet's not really working?
I was just so addicted to sugar, and I even though I was doing all this training, I still didn't look like the athlete I knew I was. I'd go to these competitions and I'd see other, women there that looked more fit. I'm like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Right? What are they doing? And I eventually did my own research, and I'm not sure. I think what book did I read? Maybe it was Good Calories, Bad Calories. I might have read something like that. I think I read that book. And I said, let me just drop some grains. And as soon as I dropped grains, and I kept my exercise the same, didn't over-exercise, like the fat started to come off. I said, let me drop this sugar now. And people then were asking me if I was a bikini competitor. I'm like, wait, I'm not a bikini competitor. And I was known at the gym as the girl who was the bikini competitor. I'm like, no. I only lift and do kettlebell sport. I don't do that, like, aesthetic stuff. But I started looking like that without changing my training plan. So that's what, got me to really believe in this, in keto. But then later on, I found out about carnivore that made me look even more shredded. I was like the best shape of my life. I was in my 40s and people thought I was in my 20s.
So you started on carnivore and felt very different.
Yes. I felt younger. Like keto was great, but like aesthetically it helped me, but like carnivore, like it brought me to that next level. Right.
And did you have any problems implementing or just eating meat, dropping off the plants?
No, because I loved organ. I love organ meats. I mean, I still kept every so often because I'm part Filipino. I'll still keep some veggies here and there. And I found out that I could tolerate some vegetables, not a lot, a fruit definitely. Like, I stay away from fruit, but some of the vegetables I'll still keep in. But mostly I like my things simple. I'm a minimalist. So I like just eating like a bowl of meat or bowl of liver. I know that's gonna.
So what do you eat? What do you eat now? Like when you wake, what do you eat and when do you eat?
Okay, well, right now I do alternate day fasting. I found out for myself that as a woman, I'm going into perimenopause. I already know this. Okay. And I got my hormones checked, my progesterone's falling, and I'm okay with that. Guess what? Carnivore and fasting is not going to stop you going to menopause, but it can help you transition into menopause in a more healthy fashion. And I found, these past couple of months that the type of fasting dosage that worked for me before isn't really working for me now. So I had to change it. I was doing OMAD, and there were some times when I felt like a fail as a carnivore doing OMAD because I still had some sugar cravings, but I did an extended fast. And as soon as I did an extended fast with carnivore, it was like sugar cravings like were gone. It sort of reset my appetite.
Yeah.
And
so you eat one day and then you fast a day and then you eat the next day.
Yeah.
So when you eat that one day, what are you eating?
Okay, well, and I alternate my meals. To be honest, I do one meal is carnivore, and the other meal is keto, but it's very meat-heavy keto. I might put, because I love my spinach, I'll have a spinach and some salmon for one, but then it sort of alternate. One meal keto, one meal carnivore, one meal keto, one meal carnivore.
Nice. And then, and it sounds like you're eating lots of nose to tail stuff.
Yes. I always eat liver, like an appetizer. I find that it's either liver or sweetbreads or testicles. That's
I love liver, and I love sweetbreads too. I've yet to source testicles.
They are delicious. They are my favorite organ meat.
Okay.
I just can't find them all the time, but when I see them, I snatch them up. So if you're in the farmer's market with me, I'm going to fight you for them. Sorry.
Oh. You see them at the farmer's market. That's great. I mean, the animal only has two, so, right? Mm-hmm. There's just that two. The liver is huge. So, but yeah, I'll have to check that out. Mm-hmm. So with every day, intermittent or every other day that you eat, you're getting enough food. And what are your, did you have other symptoms that went away or?
Well, I had my hot flashes went away. I also had, during COVID, I'm going to admit I had a relapse.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a nurse, and when COVID hit, I worked in an outpatient clinic, and I was sent to the COVID testing tents in a ICC tent, and I had no days off. That's not an excuse, right? But I worked every day and I literally had no days off. We nurses and other healthcare professionals had all this food donated to the tents. I'm sure you guys saw all the media, and steak wasn't donated. So I'm really upset. You guys should have donated some steak to the tents, right? We had muffins donated, pizza, all this stuff. And I said, I'm going to partake in this, right? I'll just have one. Not going to hurt me. But as a former binge eater, I should have known better. And I thought, just one won't hurt. But I kept eating it. And I ate this way for 4 months. And what happened is my blood pressure shot up really high. I was always low. As carnivore people, our blood pressure is usually low. My blood pressure is usually like in 100/60, right? And I went to the doctor and my blood pressure was 138/90. And I said, oh my God. I said, I think I'm having metabolic damage. Like, it's only been 3-4 months, but it was already happening. My A1c went up. I have an A1c machine at work so I could test it. That shot up to 6.7. Okay. And I gained 10 pounds in 1 week. All right. And I ended up putting on the COVID 30 in 4 months. I was absolutely shredded before then. And anyone who's ever been a physique competitor, they know that this can happen. And I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me. I went up 30 pounds and I looked like I had never stepped foot in a gym.
You were doing it up. I understand the COVID 10, the quarantine 15, and so you're a dynamo, so you just doubled it.
Yeah, I did. I go to extremes. But my cardiologist was happy. Okay, here's a little tidbit for you guys. Okay. At one time in November, this could change. When I was carnivore OMAD, I had the highest LDL that anyone ever reported without a diagnosis of FH. Okay. My cardiologist had set my blood to Mayo, right? He wanted to know what was wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. Okay. So my CAC score is 0. Like, live with it. But guess what? Guess what that cake did? Guess what that sugar did? My LDL dropped. It tanked, right? And my cardiologist said, this is good. I'm like, I'm 30 pounds overweight. I said, my belly there's no 6-pack. In fact, it looks like I ingested a 6-pack. And then some.
That's funny. Labs can be deceiving.
Yes.
Labs don't always tell the whole story.
Yeah. My LDL's now like in the hundreds. Happy doc. But my A1c shot up. How about that? Right.
Yeah.
He was happy with that and I was not. And I said, you know what? I'm going back.
Yeah.
I'm going back to my roots.
Absolutely.
Going back to fasting, and I'm going back to carnivore.
So you did, and then
in August. Mm-hmm.
In August.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been 2.5 months or something.
Yeah, because I had ate so bad those 4 months while working in those COVID tents. I went back to, I tried doing OMAD and carnivore, and it was a little hard at first. I had to work myself in. So I started back in keto, and then, and I found out OMAD wasn't working as well as it did. I did 16-8 first. Sorry. So it's a 16-8 to ease myself back in. It wasn't working before when I started, because when I first started 16-8, it worked great for me because I wasn't coming in metabolically damaged, right? And I was an uber athlete, but now I was coming in high blood pressure, older, perimenopausal, high blood pressure, all this stuff didn't work.
Not as active, probably.
Exactly, not as active. Did OMAD. I lost some weight, but not when I did OMAD before, I was losing 10, 15 pounds, right? Now I did it for a month, keto, OMAD. I was like, oh, only 5 pounds. I lost 5 pounds. I said, time to, put the gas pedal to the metal. So I said, okay, carnivore. Yeah. And I did alternate day fasting. And I threw in some extended fasts in there too. And 18 pounds dropped immediately.
Girl, it sounds like you really know how to do it, and you know your body, and you can just do it.
Yeah. So the good thing is, I knew what worked. Right. It wasn't that carnivore failed me. It wasn't that fasting failed me. Right. I just had to take it. I had to shut the box.
COVID failed you.
Yeah, nothing failed me. I had to go back in and take it out. And in fact, I became a stronger, faster, and I became stronger in my beliefs that carnivore worked, because I was a little scared. Maybe it's not going to work this time.
Yeah.
right? Yes, it did work. Though I still had to change my fasting schedule a bit. I had to do extended fasting. That really helped finally kill those sugar cravings I've had for a long time. And it really like made me just, when I did an alternate day fast, all I wanted was not even beef. I wanted organ meats. I wanted, you know, it made me really want liver.
Liver's amazing. I
Yeah.
love liver, so it's easy for me.
I can eat a pound of it. I know other people can't. So if you don't want your liver, send it to me. Donate it to the nurses. Okay.
It is
Yeah.
the superfood. Okay, so but what do you eat? Like on that day of eating, I know that you might have some organ meat, probably do.
So this is typically what I have.
Mhm.
I will start off my dinner with organ meats. Okay. And it's not like a little bit. I have a lot. Okay. Because now I know what satiates me. After going through this change, and I know now I know what I did wrong in the past. Right. I wasn't choosing the foods that suited me. You know, I was trying to copy other people.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Guess what? I know a lot of people love steak. I'd rather have liver. Okay. Okay. I know. I know.
No, that's great.
I'm just a liver girl. Okay.
And what about fat? Are you eating added fat to that? Do you eat?
Yeah, I cook that up on some beef tallow. Okay. Yeah. I for dessert I'll have like beef marrow. So I'll usually have a lot of liver, right? And maybe half a pound to a pound of liver. And then I will still have beef because I will have ground beef. I still like my ground beef. I don't like it in steak form. I like it in ground beef form.
It's such an easy to digest form and easy to make, easy to eat, and saves you a ton of money.
Yeah. So then I have my ground beef, and then I will have, I like having seafood. So I'll have, for my dessert, I will either have oysters or sardines. Okay. I like sardines. And sometimes I'll have some beef biltong or jerky and marrow. So and I usually have the same things every time. Like I don't like changing. So it'll usually be the same things all the time.
That is great. I think the same thing every time is like you find your you find the real sweet spot, and it's like you use it until you need to change.
Yeah, what might change is like what I have for my dessert. I might change my sardines for mackerel or salmon. I might, change my beef biltong. Maybe I'll have bone marrow or something. But so that sometimes changes. Sometimes my organ meats will change. Like I'll have testicles or I'll have sweetbreads instead of my liver. But liver's so cheap.
Yeah. Do you drink coffee?
I do. I drink. Actually, it's interesting. I found doing extended fasting has killed my coffee cravings. Because as an OMADer, I'm gonna let you know, like to get through my fast, I drink a lot of coffee. When I started alternate day fasting, I started to not want coffee anymore.
Nice.
I have no idea what, the reason why. Maybe someone more scientific minded can tell me, because I'd like to know. Like, I thought I would need more coffee to get through my extended fasts, and I find I don't need it. Like, I'm on a 3-day fast right now, actually. Right? I'm trying to implement it once or twice a month, and I have some tea right here. I don't need coffee.
Do you take extra electrolytes?
I do. And I think this is also why I had a hard time with OMAD, because it was a short fast, right? I don't need to salt my stuff as much, and I think I wasn't using my electrolytes like I should have. If I go back to OMAD now, and I probably will end up having to go back. I'm going to do this alternate day fasting the rest of this month. And I will probably experiment with OMAD because I want to put on, because I did undershoot. I went below my target weight, and I might want to put on a little bit more weight. I will probably have to go back to OMAD, but I'm going to look at OMAD and treat it as if it's part of a longer fast and electrolyte the crap out of my water. Something I did not do before.
Salting the water is just makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. It does, and that's why I think why I was more prepared for alternate day. I had my salts, my magnesium, my potassium, and I even bought those keto chow electrolyte drops that I'll put in my coffee or tea because I don't like it tasting like salt. But if I'm drinking my water, I use my own electrolyte solution. I make my own, and it really helps me get through these long fasts. And I feel really good. It felt easier than doing an OMAD, but now I know I must pretend, if I do OMAD, pretend like it's part of a 1 or 2 day fast and just put a lot of salt in my water.
It sounds like you just really know how to work it and tweak it for yourself. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you visit the MeetRx meetings?
I haven't done it recently. I think I'm sort of zoomed out.
Yeah.
I need to participate more. I do know I need to participate more. Like I said, when I had my relapse into being a carnivore, I was embarrassed that I fell. Like I felt like I fell from physique grace, and I'm like, I hid myself from everything, like from my gym friends, from my keto carnivore people. I just hid myself. I even started a secret IG where when I decided, you know what, I'm going to document me looking like this to getting back to, but I didn't trust myself that I would reach it because I didn't fully trust fasting or carnivore. But I eventually reached it quicker than I thought. I'm like, oh, this is it took me 4 months to get this. It probably going to take me 4 months or longer. And then I reached goal in like 2 months.
That's awesome. Oh, you're so beautiful. Even the before, I'm sure the befores are beautiful too.
Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm still working on getting as shredded as I was before, but it's going to take more strength training, which I let lapse. That's part of the missing piece. I'd let that lapse. I'm back to it now. Yeah.
Good deal. Mm-hmm. I think that's great. You're really sort of sharing how it's all in our power, in our command. We can really sort of tweak it and move it. And, once you sort of know the importance of animal foods and how nutrient dense they are and what they do for us, we can just sort of make it work however we want it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have discovered, extended fasting or, how much I love and need to make. Actually, Morgan meets the main part of my course, unless, if I hadn't fallen and, made some mistakes. I had to make mistakes to become a better person and to become healthier. And I learned my lesson. I now realize that I cannot have any sugar. Just like a heroin addict cannot have a little bit of heroin and an alcoholic cannot have a little bit of alcohol, I cannot moderate or balance. That's, excuse my language, bullshit. Okay? Guess what? And when people are like, oh, intuitive eating, BS, I can't intuitive eat sugar.
I think Mm-hmm. You just know.
Yeah,
and you know what your limits are, and
Yeah, and like I said, my blood pressure improved, my A1c dropped back down to 4.8, and my hot flashes entirely stopped. I had a week where I had hot flashes 5 days in a row. It was awful.
I'm curious what you would tell someone who's maybe feeling discouraged and wanting to try the carnivore diet.
Well, I would say as a 40 something year old woman, it's made me feel a lot younger. I don't feel like I'm in my 40s. I can sort of feel like the fluctuation in the hormones, but I feel like I can ride out the waves of these hormones, and I feel like a better woman for it. I don't feel like I'm washed up as a woman, just because I'm nearing the end of my reproductive years, that I'm just entering a new phase. And I feel like with fasting and with carnivore, things feel clearer. I almost feel like a sort of a middle-aged superhero.
You sound like one. You have so much energy. So I think it's fantastic. And
I do.
Your energy is such a good example of and your flexibility of being able to like tweak it and move it and change it. If this changes, you just have the ability to do that. And I think that is going to sort of inspire a lot of people that they can move it around. Yeah,
and like I said, as I'm getting older, certain dosages might not work anymore. Like you have to tweak it. Doesn't mean it's not working. You just now have to find a different dosage for you, different fasting dosage, different carnivore dosage. Maybe there's foods that you didn't like and you might like now. Like there are some things that I didn't think I was gonna like. I mean, like I said, I always had this taste for organ meats thanks to my mom, but there are other things like I didn't know I like certain fish fishes I didn't like, and now I like them. I love them.
Yeah.
So you'll find that things change as you get older, and that's okay, because you're going to discover more things about yourself, and you'll find out there's things you don't like. Like, you know what? I can honestly say now, I don't like sugar for the first time
Oh, that's great.
in my life. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah, and it doesn't like you either.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't like us either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing and bringing your wonderful, joyful energy to the success story. And I'm glad that you dropped that COVID 30 and
Yes.
And carry on.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Take care. Thank you.